What's up, guys? Welcome back to Undisputed Champions, where we give you boxing reviews and boxing breakdowns. What I'm gonna talk about in this video today is we're gonna talk about Errol Spence and why he's a dangerous fighter. Um, See, the thing about Errol Spence is he knows how to pressure you in a fight. He knows how to use his jab. He uses his feet well, and most importantly, he's a big dude and he hits hard. I feel like that's one of his tremendous strengths. He also knows, he also got good ring IQ. You can't say that Earl Spence doesn't know what he's doing in there and he doesn't have good ring generalship. He does. Earl Spence is tough. He uses ankles well and he has great conditioning. You never see Errol Spence out of shape when it comes fight day. Yeah, he'll be out of shape and partying and traveling, whatever he may do. And he'll be a little out of shape outside of camp, but when it's time to go, this guy is a monster when it's time to go. And I think that's one of his most dangerous attributes. And yeah, Earl Spence is tough. He's a tough guy. That's what he does. He breaks down his opponents. He wears them down with his punching because that's what really, tears down his opponents. They all can't take what he's dishing out because he hits them to the body very well. That's what people need to realize is that Earl Spence body punching is very good. You can put him on one of the top body punchers in the last decade, you can say, because he works the body very well at different angles. He knows how to move on the back foot and still hit you to the body, just like that shot right there. Uh, you know, that's what Earl Spence do. That's like his trademark. He's a great body puncher. Another thing that Earl Spence does is he knows how to manage distance very well. He knows how to gauge distance. He has decent reflexes. I don't think his reflexes is on the same uh plateau as Floyd Mayweather, or Pornell Whitaker, but he has good reflexes. He knows how to catch punches. He knows how to evade punches. He knows how to move to certain angles to where he's not going to get touched. And you see right there a good jab. He knows how to fight in the inside well. He knows how to fight on the outside. He can box. People don't think People think that his style is more of a boxing style. I don't see that. I see a guy who's a puncher. He's more of a puncher than he is a boxer. Look, most of the time Errol Spence is fighting, he wants to control the ring, he wants to dominate, and he wants to show his supremacy when it comes in the ring. He wants to show that, look, I'm the best, and you want to come in here and fight me, you gonna get the best work. So let's talk about the competition that Errol Spence has been receiving so far. I mean, I can name 3 people off the top of my head who was a name. That's Sean Porter, Kell Brook, Danny Garcia. Now you could say Lamont Peterson and Chris Van Heerden, but who has those guys beat? You know, Lamont Peterson really didn't become a name until he was fighting Errol Spence, in my opinion, because I didn't even know who Lamont Peterson was. I seen him in a couple other fights, but it's not like I can identify him, out of the rest of the fighters, you could say. Because to be honest with you, I didn't know who Lamont Peterson was. Now, I'm not trying to sound like Floyd, but I'm serious. Like I only found out who he was when I started watching they fight Errol Spence versus Lamont Peterson, and he's a decent fighter. I felt like he was a punching bag for Errol Spence because Errol Spence was just, destroying him. Now, who do we want to see Errol Spence fight? Of course, it's um, Terrence Crawford, right? But after that fight, just like I said in my last video, after that fight, after they fight each other, who will they fight next? I'm gonna let y'all. I'm gonna come back to that, but I want y'all to think about that. I'm gonna let y'all think. But right now, I'm gonna talk about Errol Spence's weaknesses. What I see that Errol Spence need to work on as a fighter to be a complete fighter. because I feel like you're not complete if you don't have these things. So what I mean by being a complete fighter, you have to have a quick twitch. You have to have fast reflexes. Now, everybody are not gifted with these natural talents, right? It's only been a few people that has been gifted with these natural talents. You could say James Toney. He had like instinctual reflexes to where he didn't have like he did have the good training, but he didn't have like the proper training to teach him the perfect defense. He would just go off instinct. He had instinctual defense, right? Or a Floyd Mayweather. Once again, that name keep popping up because he's the defensive genius, right? But I feel like in order to be a complete fighter, you gotta have some type of elusiveness within you. Even Canelo, to a certain degree, is elusive. He's not a complete, I'll come to knock you out and I'm gonna just walk right through you. That's not Canelo's style. Canelo is a boxer, like I said in my last video. But Errol Spence can be flat-footed at times. Errol Spence can move in the inside. He could be fighting in the inside too much. I feel like he be putting himself in the danger zone too much because, like I said before, he's not afraid to bang. And this fight right here, Sean Porter. Sean Porter, I feel like exposed, or I don't even want to say the word exposed because look at that right there. That's like a clickbait word. I don't want to say Sean Porter exposed Errol Spence. What I will say is Sean Porter showed that Errol Spence has these weaknesses at these places. Errol Spence don't like fighting on the back foot. So if you put Errol on the back foot, like look right here, like he's a little off balance. He's getting hit. He was showing a little bit of defense right there, like a little slick head movement. But these weaknesses are seen by the best. Like even Floyd, if Floyd was to come back and he want to fight, let's say Errol Spence, he's gonna look at these videos and be like, Errol is not the same. He's not that same guy. That monster that I fought in the gym a couple years back that knocked me down. This guy is, he's a little reckless at times. But I feel like, when you fighting these guys like a Sean Porter or Danny Garcia, or some people would say Mikey Garcia, when you fighting guys like the or Kell Brook, when you fighting guys like this, these are guys that are at the top of their A game, right? Like when he went over to London and fought Kell Brook, that fight was incredible because I feel like Kell Brook showed how Errol Spence timing was. Just like right here with the Sean Porter fight, I feel like Sean gave Errol a very tough fight. Sean could have did a lot more things to help him come out with the victory, but I felt like Errol was just smarter, better, and more, you could say, had less wars than Sean. Sean had wars with, oh man, Keith Thurman. He had wars with, it wasn't a war when he fought Adrian Broner. He had wars with, Kell Brook. That was crazy. That was a good fight. But Sean had a lot of wear and tear on his body. So Errol's punches, being that he's the bigger guy, he weared Sean down. And that's how he was able to get that little quick knockdown right there. I feel like Sean could have did a lot more in that fight. I felt like Sean was worthy of a rematch, if you ask me. And I know a couple people that say the same thing, but it's just me, in my opinion. I feel like Sean should get a rematch from that fight. But now that Errol Spence is moving on, he's moving forward with the fight, and he's about to fight Terrence Crawford. He really needs to think about what he needs to touch on. Like he needs to know how to get on his toes and move his feet. He needs to work on moving back, stepping backwards, because Earl is a front-footed fighter, and he likes to fight on the front foot, pushing the opponent back. See, the thing about that is pushing the opponent back and you being pushed back. See, a lot of things that Earl wasn't able to do is fight on the back foot. I feel like, the best fighters do that. Muhammad Ali, Purnell, once again, that name, Mayweather, of course, Terrence Crawford. But right here in this fight, you can see Errol Spence being counterpunched. And when he in this fight, in the Kell Brook fight, what made him so great was no matter how much he was getting counterpunched or getting beat to the punch, he never lost his will to win. Because anytime you outclass somebody in a fight, some people will give up because they like, I can't do nothing. I can't get my stuff off. And right here in this fight, it was like the battle of the jab. Who's gonna get the jab off first? Who's gonna get that first punch off? And Kell Brook does this thing where he touches your jab and he tries to counter over your jab. So you have to counter the counter because that's what Kell Brook does. He's a counter puncher. And Earl couldn't get past that. So he was like, you know what? I'm going to just start beating him up. So we see him in this fight. He was just beating up Kell Brook, breaking him down, beating on him, and showing him, look, you can't stop me. But this is it for this video. What I need y'all to do is like and subscribe. Please smash that like button, subscribe, share it with your people. And this is Undisputed Champions. I'm out.